Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Here we are once again. We are here at Mind Retirement Platform where we are talking to entrepreneurs about their businesses. Today's Thursday session. We've been doing this since Monday and we are celebrating Global Entrepreneurship Week. Today, we are talking about mastering self leadership for sustainable success. I am not alone. I am with Ki Dumezi, who will shortly introduce herself and her business. But what I know for sure is there will always be a takeaway from the discussion and the conversation that Ki Dumezi and I will be having. Let me start by actually greeting you, Kitumezi, and say, how are you doing today? And thank you so much for joining us. I know you are busy at UJ, but you made time to come and have a conversation with us. How are you?
Good afternoon, Coach Buse and your viewers. I am fantastic. I really can't complain. Work is work, so when duty calls, I respond.
Definitely, you really responded. I really appreciate that. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Kitumezi and what inspired you to start your business?
So my name is Kitumetse Mweketsi, born and bred in Pimville, Soweto. I am the last born of four siblings, and the reason I started my business when I got hospitalized, I thought there's something that just came to mind that it can be every second or third person that has diabetes or high blood pressure. And for me, that was a call for concern. So I said the narrative has to change. And this is the reason why I started my business, Phenomenal Health and Wellness.
Wow. So now you turned lemons into lemonade. That's what they always say when you are faced with a situation, but then you end up using it to help others in a similar situation. Tell us a bit about that. What is it that really needed you to make that lifestyle change? How did you then decide that you are going to turn it into a business?
So for me, I'm really passionate about health. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, it was me giving out information to say to people, okay, this is how I can empower you. But however, I saw that for me to reach larger numbers of people, then this would need to turn into a business because I can't reach a larger volume of people just doing the one-on-ones.
Yes. Okay,
So yeah.
elaborate a little bit more about the business that you are in. What do you do, and what do people get from coming to Phenomenal Health?
So I am in the business of empowering individuals to achieve lasting wellness by
Mm-hmm.
providing personalized health coaching and holistic guidance that addresses the root cause of health issues by focusing more on gut health, habit transformation, and lifestyle change. So what people get from me, I assist them to make this a lifestyle. So it's not just a diet. People shouldn't look at it as a diet, but as a lifestyle.
Uh, Definitely, and I think you have just even touched on the fact that you focus on the gut health. What is gut health?
So basically, what people don't realize is that the gut is responsible for so many things in terms of your energy, your mood, um, and even a root cause of a lot of diseases are from the gut. So it is one thing that one needs to nourish for you to flourish.
Mm-hmm. So everything is in
Yes.
your stomach, right? The gut represents the stomach for some of people who might not know what the gut is, right?
That's correct because I get it, your digestive system. It's part of the
Mm-hmm.
digestive system, and 70% of your immune cells are mostly in the gut. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's very important to take care of it.
Now that we're still talking about the gut, what are some of the symptoms that will show us that our gut needs is not healthy?
Sure, it can vary from different things, your moods, your energy levels, um, and your productivity. It can be affected by your mood. So it's some of the things that can actually illustrate that your gut needs some attention.
Wow. I know for sure. I've just recently actually visited the colon cleansing clinic. And
Hmm.
it was after I've been exposed to you, of course, but I have also I think I grew up in a family that always believed in alternative healing. One
Hmm.
of the reason why I went was because I was starting to have a fog mind. Like I would forget easily, and I will have these joint pains that affected my mobility. And I realized that after I have gone there to detox and to do a colon cleansing, it helped greatly to build energy, but also for my alertness and my mental awareness. So,
Yes.
would it be what you recommend people to do in terms of their own bettering their life? What else besides the colon cleansing that you do within your practice to support them in their gut health?
Um, I would recommend it, however, supporting it also with your diet. One thing that a lot of us have moved from is going back to the basics. So we've become convenience people, and it's very important that we go back to the basics and more of I would say looking at it from that perspective to say, okay, when I eat my fruits and vegetables, if I always say if something doesn't have a label on it, then you can eat it. But if it's manufactured in a plant, what else is going into your food?
Mm-hmm.
So it's also looking at reading your labels, being aware of what is it that you're ingesting, because that is very important.
I tell you, this issue also requires a lot of self discipline. And which I think that's where our topic of today comes in, where we have to master our self leadership. How do you, what does it mean to you to have a self leadership?
So I would say for myself, self leadership is being able to lead yourself to achieve your goals that you've set
Mm-hmm.
for that you've set out for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So would you say you know how to lead yourself?
Personally, I would say it was a process. It wasn't something that happened overnight. There are times where you think you go in the right direction, but when there's no vision, when there's no goals, then you stumble. You end up stumbling. So self leadership in that sense is important.
Mm-hmm. Uh, you know, as I mentioned, that this requires a lot of self-discipline, especially what you are dealing with in the issue of helping people change their own lifestyle. We are
Mhm.
creatures of habits, and to break a habit, to change it for a good one, it takes time. So now, how can one maintain self-discipline, or how have you done it so that we can learn from you? How best can we maintain our self-discipline in order to remove the distractions or to keep to our goals?
Personally, one thing that has also helped me is that to know, is something moving me toward my goal, or is it taking me away from my goal? So
Mm-hmm,
most of the time I have to consider, even when having junk food, what benefit is it to me? Is it leading me to where I want to be, or is it taking
mm-hmm,
away from my main goal?
mm-hmm.
So yes.
Mom Eva says, they say if you cannot pronounce it from a label, don't eat it. How true is this statement?
I fairly agree with, not even fairly, 100% agree with Mama Eva. Anything that has labels that you can't read, then why are you ingesting it? Because if you look at your fruits and your vegetables, they don't have labels. and they are so good for you. But all these things that have labels, many labels that you can't read, there's a lot of processing that also goes into those foods. So I do concur with Mama Eva.
That's a good one. So, one thing I know for sure, I am also still in the process of building my self discipline when I have to go to gym regularly and be consistent with my physical well being, because I can do mental and emotional, but I still struggle with my physical. And most of us who are sometimes having to give a reason why we can't go to gym, we always talk about time. So now time management seems to be a challenge to most of us, or to most entrepreneurs out there. What strategies do you use to stay organized and productive?
For me, what works is preparation and writing things down. It's very
Hmm.
important because sometimes you just say, okay, I've got it in my brain, I need to do this. But with a lot of distractions that come into play, you end up forgetting. So if you plan, you prepare, and you write things down, that would also help.
I like that, preparing, writing things down. And one thing I have adopted is to make sure that every little thing goes into my calendar so that I can get reminders as well. I have noticed that if I have written down on a book or somewhere else where I'm not going to get the reminder, I'm still going to forget about it. But the moment I put it on my calendar, on my schedule, it pops up, then I remember to do. I even write drink water as a
Yes.
reminder because I tend to forget to drink water. How do you don't you find some of your clients also having the similar challenge?
It differs from person to person. However, some people believe uh, they've got it in the brain. But for me, I always say writing things down, out of sight, out of mind. If you're not writing it down, then it becomes a problem.
Hmm. Mama Eva is wanting to know about the shakes that we are highly being recommended. Everybody's wanting us to take shakes and replace food with the shakes. What is your take about these shakes?
Whew, good question, Mama Eva. Personally, with everything, you need to look at what goes into your food. That is very, very important. So with the shakes, yes, they might be assisting in some way or another, but I would rather say get your protein, I would say, from the natural stuff. So you know that you're ingesting something that's digestible in your stomach. Because okay, look, everyone's gut is different, but however, rather be on the safe side and consume something that you know is digestible.
What are some of the protein providing food that you can recommend?
You can use your chia seeds, you can use flax seeds, you can also use your chickpeas. They also provide protein.
Okay. And this we can add in our cereals, in our meals. They can go with any meal we eat.
Your chickpeas, you can have them as snacks, you can have them as a meal because they're quite filling. So that would be part of your salad. You can make curries with them. And then your chia seeds and your flax seeds, that stuff that you can add into your salads, into your shake, not your shakes, but your smoothies. So yeah,
Ah.
they're very versatile.
Has there ever been a time where you felt like you were not leading yourself, where you believe that it impacted your life negatively?
In a lot of ways, coach, when I don't prepare and I
Mm-hmm.
go with the flow, that's when I stumble. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where poor self leadership comes into play for me. So I would need to prepare and plan. That is very important. So for instance, with my meals as well, it's something that I would need to plan in advance for the whole week. Otherwise, if I don't, anything that comes to play, I just eat because it's there. So, but if I've planned, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So once there's no planning for me, then the self-leadership goes down the drain.
How does planning look like? You talk a lot about planning. How does this planning look like? Does it mean I have to put time aside on a specific day, and then I reflect on what I want to achieve in a week, and then I start putting what I will need, and then ensure that I have them? Tell us a little bit in details. I think you need to be more practical, because remember, these words are easily said than done. But if you bring it home to us, we are making it practical, we will understand it better.
Okay, coach. So from my side, I start with sort of like a month calendar. Then I populate it with everything that I need to populate it with, and then
Mhm.
every Sunday I plan my week. Every Sunday, everything that needs to be on on the plan will be on the plan, so that I don't even double book myself and say, oh, sorry, I forgot because I had another engagement. So
Uh-huh.
there's a weekly planner, and even with the meals, there's a weekly meal plan. So I know when I go to the grocery store, I buy exactly that, and I know what I'm going to eat from Sunday to Saturday.
Nice one. Nice one. So now, if we take it away from the food, I want to say, because there are many people who are watching this today, we need to actually say putting time aside is very crucial. All of us, we cannot just be on a red race without pausing and reflecting and planning. So when my planning happens on a Sunday afternoon where I plan my week ahead. I know I'll have a month plan, but I have to break it down into smaller, manageable tasks so that I can achieve a lot. So Sunday afternoon, I start setting, I reflect on what did I achieve last week, is still pending. Do I have to carry it into the following week? What are the new demands of the following week? And what are my goals? Are everything that I have put for this specific week still aligned to the goals that I want to achieve in a month? So everything
Mhm.
has to be intentional, and you need to be actually very more like present, because most
Mhm.
people are living on an autopilot mode where they believe things will happen on their behalf without them taking action. Unfortunately, if you want to achieve your goal, you might need to actually put time aside to plan, to execute, to reflect, and then to start again from the beginning. Emma, is it something that you resonate with as well, Gitu?
100% coach, 100%. I do resonate with that in all aspects. Planning is very important, and how you break it down like that, it's very important. With one of the stuff that I also use is that with the weekly planner. So it's got an hourly planner of what I'm doing every hour on the hour. So I
Mhm.
know if it's 9 to 10, there's a meeting. So I break it down further than just the whole week to the couple of hours what I need to be doing in that time.
Definitely. And also advising people who are easily distracted, it's important for us to be aware of the distractions that
Mm,
are derailing us from achieving our goals, right? If you
correct.
know that a phone is a distraction, whenever you are at duty or you want to achieve something, move it away from you so that you don't get the buzz or the beeps of the messages that are coming through. Then you get tempted to look at it. Or if you know that working from home when the children are at home is a distraction, find a time where you work after school that you know you're not at home, the children will not reach you, so that you can achieve your goal. So all of us have to go into that type of planning and knowing exactly when are you most effective, when are you most productive, and when are you least productive, so that you can maximize on your time. So that's part of self leadership. So now, talking of self leadership again, I just want us to even drill down, especially about the tools or the habits or the systems that are available that people can use to develop that consistency. What is it that you use, and what tools do you know of that you can recommend that maybe people can explore and help themselves?
So I would recommend, besides writing things down, coach, having systems in place. And
Mm-hmm.
that would include sorting things out in order of importance.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we are busy, but we are busy but not productive. So it's
Mm-hmm.
sorting out what's important and what's urgent. So you need to know the difference and attend them in order of importance. So it's having that tool where you are able to separate um, what's important and what's urgent. So
Mm-hmm.
it's that. And one thing that also helps me is to listen to podcasts as well that assist me in that sense. There's a guy that I usually listen to, Rob Dial. And one thing that I've also learned is that habit of doing one thing and finishing it. Because most of the time we get busy with something and something, but at the end of the day, you've done nothing. So finish a task, do a task until it comes to completion. Then step on to the next thing. So that's the habits that I've learned.
Lovely, lovely. And to add to what you're saying, as I indicated, I think we have smartphones. We are
Mm,
always in touch with our calendars. We are in touch on our schedulers. We are always having, for those that have accountability groups or partners, let's make use of them because some of them are also able to assist us in building a new habit. But as we have said, unlearning a bad habit to learn a new one takes time, but it takes you to repeat over a period of time. 721 days, they say, will
mhm,
help you create a new habit. You cannot just do it once and then you fail and you do it and then you're not getting it right and then you give up. You sometimes will not get it at the first time, but the more you continue doing it, the better you get at it. It becomes part of your lifestyle, and then you start actually doing it as part of life. So now, another thing that I know for sure is that often demand entrepreneurship itself. It demands long hours. Some of us, we find that in the middle of the night when everybody is sleeping, we are awake because we have a lot in our plate because we are holding many positions. We are not just business owners, we are marketing, we are finance, and so on and so on. So now, how do you balance being productive by avoiding burnout?
Um, one thing that I'm trying to learn is to take a step back, pause, and breathe. Because sometimes you just want to be there, rushing everywhere. But take time out, and it's okay to take time out. You can't give out of an empty cup, so you need
Yeah,
to take that pause, and then breathe, and then start again. So that's what one thing that assists me the most.
definitely pause, breathe, and learn mindfulness exercises as well. We
Mm,
are always mind retirement. We always are big about talking about self care and practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness to some is meditating, to some is actually having a massage. Others, it's about taking a walk in a park, taking that moment of break, and then taking to be in touch with nature. Others, it's about just being in a quiet space in your garden or doing your own gardening. So I don't know what practices that you do that you find that they help calm your mind down and to also give you a pause moment that Kitu is talking about. Listening to music is also one of the therapeutic
mhm.
ways and how you can always lift your spirit up. But mostly, remember, burnout is real, guys. And
Yes.
the symptoms of burnout are many. You could start even having some stiff neck, shoulders, or the pain, or
Mm,
a headache that constantly come, and you can't live on the pharmaceutical tablets. We need to avoid getting ourselves dependent on medicine to cope with life. That is why I think it brings us to your what you do, Gitu, that there
mm.
are energy giving food. Please tell us about that.
So with what you're eating, you need for your sugar to be balanced in most cases for you to have that kind of energy. Because
Mm-hmm.
in most cases, we get that dip around 2 o'clock or around that time. And one thing that we run for is either that Red Bull, that Coke. But however, that is going to drop you. And once your sugar levels drop, you're still going to go back to another Coke or another something. So it's having food that sustains your energy, where your rolled oats comes into play. Just looking at foods that are more sustainable in keeping you fuller for longer, and the energy levels are consistent and constant, unlike having them going up and down.
Mm-hmm. You know, you are talking about energy levels. You know, some of us who are speakers, they always want us to say, "Yo, speaking after lunch is a challenge. You need to have energy to carry everybody." And we have this thing. I'm like, "Yo, I need to come up with some tricks to get people excited and to bring the energy back." And I have noticed, especially having worked with the corporate world and working with professionals and executives, that what you carry in your lunchbox is very key. Most people take takeaways, or they find that they're every day eating magwenya, or every day they're eating
Mm.
pap, and the energy levels after one, they are down. And what you are referring to right now is very key. And sometimes we don't even realize that if you don't eat energy providing food, you might end up feeling like you are depressed. When the
Mm.
stomach is too full, the energy is down, you are exhausted, you just want to sleep. That, at the end of the day, if it's prolonged, you might feel like you are depressed. Am I correct that there is a correlation of food and depression?
That is very true, coach. Remember, going back to the gut, everything starts in the gut. So
Mm-hmm.
your gut is also known as your second brain. So once you start not taking care, then it will affect you, because also it's linked to your mental health as well, your gut. So it's one of those things that you need to take into cognizance what you're eating. That okay, what is the end result of what I'm going to be having now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What is the result of what I'm going to be having now? That is a mindful way of eating, which I think
Mm.
over time we tend to learn about being mindful. Self leading is also about being patient with yourself. It's also about the ability to know your strengths, to know your weaknesses, and you know what are the opportunities around you and the threats that are surrounding you. That is why when we spoke about tools earlier, one of the biggest tools that people should always use is what we call the SWOT analysis. Because
Mhm.
with our strengths and knowing our weaknesses, one of the weakness that I know for sure is when I go into this store, retail stores, the ones that the aisle is full of sweets, I find myself having to grab a packet of sweets because I'm walking through those sweets. And now I have to be
Mm.
intentional and remind myself of the plan and the goal where I'm going. So it meaning uh, I have to be mindful of the triggers. I have to be mindful of the distractions, and also some of the temptations that I am weak at.
Mm.
So how can people overcome temptation in any form so that they can lead themselves?
In a lot of ways, coach, you would need to be very intentional. So if you know that your weakness is sweets, do not want, just don't lead yourself to that aisle that you know that definitely I'll be taking a packet of sweets. So it's one of those things. Even if your phone is a distraction, then yes, know how to either put it on do not disturb, where you know I'm not going to look at it and complete my tasks, or take it to another room. If it's a problem for you to sleep when it comes to your phone, put it in the other bedroom, that you don't have to be scrolling until 12 midnight. Because remembering that once, that also filters in your productivity in the next day. So it's a snowball effect. So do not go into some, don't trigger yourself. Do not go into spaces where you also know. But it's however also being intentional about what you want. Be very intentional.
Hmm. We have to definitely be intentional. Let me see what our listeners are saying. And I hope that people can remember they can always ask questions and we will be able to read them here. So if you haven't have a question and you have a question for Gitu, anything related to self leadership or your gut health, she's here and she will be able to advise. She is the owner of the beautiful business, the Phenomenal Health, which provide coaching and help you with your lifestyle change. Mom Eva says the habits of finishing tasks is a big one for me, even in small chores. Lovely, Mom Eva. Thank you so much for contributing greatly, Mom Eva, today. We see you and we appreciate your contribution. So now, what happens if ever things don't go the way you have planned? What are the process that you can recommend for people to stay on track?
If things don't go your way, coach, you need to reflect, take a step back and reflect. If you can change it, do so. However, if it's something that might be beyond your control and requires maybe assistance from out and external assistance, do not be shy to ask for help.
Do not be shy to
Not
ask
be,
for.
not be shy to ask for help.
Mm,
Um, Personally, I have learned that when you keep quiet, then help is not just gonna come and fall on your lap. So if things don't go your way and you are not able to change that thing at that moment, and there's somebody else that can assist you, ask for help.
I like that one because most of us are really struggling with that. Most
Mm.
entrepreneurs are struggling for asking for help. That is why, in fact, even people coming for coaching, it becomes a challenge. And also to even ask for help from a coach, it's a challenge because every time
Mm.
it's like we are wired to show as if we know, and when we ask for help, we assume that people will think we are stupid or we don't know. We don't know. I don't know what goes to mind. What is your reason for not asking for help? Because I know there are many people who are struggling to ask for help. So, lastly, maybe as you take us through, I just want you to give an advice to an aspiring entrepreneur about building their self leadership skills, especially early in their business journey. What would you say?
I would advise that when it comes to self leadership, it's something very crucial because at the end of the day, if you don't do it for yourself, who's going to do it for you?
Yeah,
And one thing that always comes to mind for me is that no one is coming to save you.
no one is
No
coming
one
to
is
see.
coming to save you.
You are the master of your own destiny.
100%.
100%. No, thank you. Kitu, where do people find you and how do you book? What packages do you have? Maybe this is the moment you can share a little bit more about that.
So mostly I'm available to my clients on Instagram, LinkedIn, and also WhatsApp. And the packages that I offer, so mostly what I do at the core is to offer personalized coaching and corporate coaching. And so the packages that I have, there's three levels where it can be a 4 week, a 6 week, and a 3 month coaching program.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it's where we assess to see where are you. We meet you also at your point of need, and then we assess to see what is it that you need and how we can help you change the habits, change the lifestyle in order to achieve lasting wellness.
Change the habits and change the lifestyle. Do people start in December? Pella is December, boss. I know people are always so up and about in January, but do you have clients in December, Kitu?
I do have clients in December, and one thing that I always emphasize, December is just a couple of weeks. For me, December is also like winter. Winter is only 2 months. So keep the consistency going. It doesn't have to. Why do you have to throw out your, let's say, what your work that you've done for the whole year and want to lose it in what, 2 weeks? Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
I know. We have
So it's
that thing.
also just trying. Sorry.
I'm saying now, is it worth it? I'm in agreement with you.
Now, at the end
Is
of
it?
the day, you look. It's
Mm,
still going back to, is it taking me to where I want to go, or is it
mm,
taking away? So intentionality is very important when it comes to that.
intentionality, indeed. There is a remark or a question that is coming from Tepo, and Tepo is asking, how can I lead myself or my life where all I learned or received from my upbringing is pain, suffering, abuse, or traumatic experiences?
So, Tshepo, first things first, it's also asking me, acknowledging that, okay, there's a problem, and you go
Mm,
seek help. After seeking the help, you also need to understand that in our upbringing, there's a lot of traumas that we've also encountered. So there's a lot of unlearning that one needs to do. So it's more of working on yourself as well. Personal development is very important, and being aware that, okay, this is what's happening now, and how do I change it? And you seek help.
and the awareness is the starting point of our healing journey. And
So true.
when we are getting into that awareness state, then the next thing is to discover some solution aligned with the traumas or the pains that we have experienced. That's a great recommendation and great advice, Gitu. Nothing ever lasts. Even
Mm,
the life that you have lived, it can change, depending on whether you are ready for change, because nothing will happen on its own if you have not yet given yourself permission to change.
mm,
And we know that because when we want good things in our lives, we have to let go, or even let go of the greatest pains or greatest hurt, or even go through the process of forgiveness, because you are not doing it for the person who has hurt you, who has traumatized you. You are doing it for you in order for your life to move forward. And I know for sure, because we are having the forgiveness retreat in the coming 2 weeks. And that's what we want to take people through, especially in terms of self-leading. When we say let's learn about forgiveness, it's part of leadership. It's not about forgetting about what happened to you, but it's for
mm,
you to remove the hindrances that can prevent you from your personal growth, or from actually reaching the greater heights and becoming a better version of yourself. So Tepo says, thank you, Gitu, and thank you so much for that answer. On that note, I want to say thank you, Gitu, for being here with me today. How do you feel? How are you? Is there anything that you wanna say as a closing remark?
As a closing remark, I would like to thank you for having me and for this opportunity to be able to articulate how self leadership has assisted me as an entrepreneur, and how I hope it can, what I have answered today can assist somebody in one way or another.
Thank you. And I always say it's not by mistake that people come across this kind of conversation and they even take time to listen to it. There's always a reason. And maybe we are here for you because you need to build new habits. You need to let go of some of the things that are not serving you, and accept that
Mm.
things that you love might not love you back. And it's time
Mm.
maybe we also look at your gut health, because there are certain things that you've been ingesting that are not good for you that you need to let go of. So this is the moment of introspection. This is the moment that you ask yourself questions. If I'm living my life in a way that I want to show up for myself, I might go into the direction where I want to see my dreams and my goals. And if the answer says yes, you are the only person who's holding the keys. Unfortunately, no one
Mm.
else is going to do it for you. And thank you so much, Kitu, for sharing the wisdom and the experience of mastering self leadership. Your insights has been very helpful, especially talking about things like self discipline, time management, personal accountability, because we tend to expect other people outside of us to assist us to reach our goals, yet we don't keep ourselves accountable. And also for actually helping us in this journey in terms of personal change, so that when we change ourselves, we give also permission to others to change. There's nowhere as a leader in the business that you expect change with your team if you're not willing to change yourself. So that's why if you struggle, we have courses and coaching on leading yourself and others. Then we can assist you in building habits and building strategies that will assist you to achieve what you want to achieve. So be sure to join us tomorrow. We are back here at 4 o'clock again when we do day 5, and it's the last day of the Global Entrepreneurship Week. We are talking about building confidence and communication skills. I do believe we have one of the entrepreneurs that will be joining. And I must say, everybody that has been interviewed on this platform is on Mind Retirement Business Development Program. And they are really here investing for their personal and business growth. Thank you, Kitu, once again for your insight and for your valuable lessons. We want to learn more about gut health. December is not Decembering without our health. Our health is our wealth, right?
100%. Invest in your health, and you'll thrive.
No, definitely. So I'm not gonna leave everybody without a nice music. So enjoy Mind Retirement songs, and thank you. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.